Welcome to day 20, a day that represents one of the most critical turning points in your AI security leadership journey. Take a deep breath because today we walk into the world where trust, responsibility, and due diligence become the armor that protects your enterprise from invisible AI-driven risks. As you look at the visual on this slide, notice the interconnected grid. Every glowing node, every shield, every data line flowing across the system represents a vendor connection, a gateway into your organization's most sensitive systems. And here is the truth. Your AI is only as trustworthy as the vendors you trust. Today, we enter the world of AI supply chain exposure, third-party model dependencies, cloud AI vulnerabilities, API-driven risks, model manipulation, and more. This session is not about fear. It's about clarity, empowerment, and mastery. By the end of today's journey, you'll look at every AI vendor with a newly sharpened perspective. You'll learn how to ask the right question, how to perform due diligence that others overlook, and how to build a defensible, systematic, enterprise-wide AI vendor governance model. So, let's begin, slowly, thoughtfully, intentionally, because day 20 is not just a training module. It is your entry point into a new era of AI leadership, where your decisions shape the future resilience of your entire organization. Introduction: the growing AI vendor risk landscape. Now, pause for a moment and consider these numbers. 87% of enterprises today use third-party AI services, but 63% lack a formal AI vendor assessment, and the average cost of an AI vendor breach, $4.5 million. These numbers aren't just statistics, they are signals. Signals that the world has embraced AI faster than it has understood it. Signals that innovation has outpaced governance. Signals that enterprises are trusting systems without validating the guardians behind them. The rise of generative AI created a rush, a goldmine of capabilities. And organizations jumped in with enthusiasm, but they did not bring guardrails, they did not bring structured due diligence, and they did not bring AI-specific risk frameworks. Point. And now, risk has evolved. AI vendors do not behave like traditional software vendors. Their risks are uniquely human, uniquely unpredictable, uniquely emergent. Point. You now face model manipulation, prompt injection, training data exposure, unexpected output behavior, hidden bias, silent failure modes. Imagine trusting a model whose training data you've never seen. Imagine integrating an AI engine whose drift patterns you cannot predict. Imagine depending on a vendor whose model improvements may accidentally expose your proprietary data. This is why Day 20 exists. To give you the knowledge, the confidence, and the courage to step forward and say, we will not integrate blindly, we will not trust without verification, we will validate every model, every platform, every pipeline before it enters our ecosystem. Today, you transition from consumer of AI to governor of AI. Types of AI vendors and platforms. AI vendor risk cannot be generalized. Every type of vendor introduces a different flavor of exposure, a different type of dependency, a different form of risk. So let's walk through the landscape slowly, one category at a time. 1. LLM providers. These are giants: OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. They carry immense power, but also immense opacity. Their vulnerabilities include training data exposure, behavioral drift, undocumented model changes, dependency on a single provider for mission-critical functions. 2. Generative AI SaaS platforms. These tools are friendly, accessible, tempting, but behind the friendly interface lie hidden risks in proprietary workflows, internal data retention, and unknown internal model pipelines. 3. ML model marketplaces, Hugging Face, AWS Marketplace. They offer convenience, but introduce concerns of model provenance, licensing gaps, accidental backdoors, manipulated checkpoints, unclear lineage. 4. Cloud AI services, Azure AI, AWS, Bedrock, Google Vertex. They combine infrastructure, orchestration, and AI engines, leading to complex shared responsibility models. If something goes wrong, who is accountable? 5. Fine-tuning hosts. These vendors allow you to bring your own data, fine-tune your own models. And that means your intellectual property, your competitive advantage, rests in their storage, their isolation model, their deletion practices. Every vendor category is a lens, a way to see risk differently. And your responsibility as an AI security leader is to understand these lenses, to evaluate each vendor category with precision, and to choose partners not by promises, but by proof. The new supply chain risk. As we move deeper, we reach one of the most dangerous, least understood territories of AI risk, the AI supply chain. Traditional vendor risk frameworks were never built for this world. They cannot see model drift. They cannot detect hidden bias. They cannot evaluate adversarial robustness. They cannot inspect training data lineage. AI has created a supply chain that is computationally complex, behaviorally unpredictable, opaque by default, continuously evolving. Every component, datasets, scripts, checkpoints, embeddings travels through hands you cannot see. If any single stage is compromised, a backdoor can travel silently into production, into your workflows, into your customers' lives. Let's review the attack vectors, gently but honestly. Model manipulation, injecting backdoors into training data. Data leakage models, unintentionally memorizing sensitive data. Backdoored APIs, attackers manipulating inference pipelines, output poisoning. Malicious actors shaping model responses to mislead, misinform, or disrupt. The world has changed. Risk is no longer static. AI models retrain, evolve, drift, and transform. So your due diligence must evolve too. The organizations that thrive in this new era will be the ones who no longer apply yesterday's checklist to tomorrow's threats, but instead build AI-era due diligence frameworks for a new kind of supply chain. Third-party AI access points. Now, visualize your enterprise, a complex mesh of tools, systems, APIs, integrations, workflows, each one a doorway, each doorway an opportunity for innovation or for intrusion. AI vendors enter your enterprise through access points that often go unnoticed, unmonitored, unprotected. Let's walk through them one by one. Point. First, APIs and endpoints. This is where sensitive prompts travel. You send your thoughts out, the model sends its answers back. And if the vendor endpoint is compromised, your intellectual property, your confidential data, your internal patterns are exposed. Second, plugins and extensions, seemingly harmless browser plugins, Office tool add-ons, CRM integrations, all powered by AI. But they operate with elevated privileges. They see what you see, they capture what you type, they become a silent observer. Third, model endpoints. Your proprietary data passes through a vendor environment. Is it isolated? Is it encrypted? Is it deleted after inference? If the answer is unclear, the risk is high. Fourth, system integrations. When AI is embedded into business-critical workflows, a single model error can cascade like a domino effect, triggering failures across systems that depend on AI for decisions. This is why AI vendor access points must be governed with zero trust principles, least privilege, API key rotation, network segmentation, monitoring, anomaly detection. Your job is not to block innovation. Your job is to protect the pathways through which innovation enters your enterprise. Vendor due diligence framework. Now, we step into the heart of this module, the vendor due diligence framework, your compass, your shield, your roadmap. Pause for a moment and let this truth sink in. Due diligence is not paperwork. It's protection. It's foresight. It's leadership. This framework is built across 5 essential dimensions, each one a pillar of trust, each one a requirement for securing your AI ecosystem. Let's walk through them thoughtfully, intentionally. First, security. This is where you ask, how well does the vendor protect the model, the data, the infrastructure? You look for defenses against adversarial attacks, prompt injection, model inversion. You examine their architecture the way a pilot checks the aircraft before takeoff. Second, privacy. Here you evaluate the entire data lifecycle, how data is ingested, stored, used, retained, deleted. Is customer data used for training? Can the vendor guarantee deletion? Do they provide proof? Remember, privacy failures do not stay silent. They eventually echo across the enterprise. 3. Transparency. This is the soul of responsible AI. Do they explain their model behavior? Do they provide model cards? Do they admit limitations? Or do they hide behind marketing language and secrecy? True transparency is the difference between trust and danger. 4. Reliability. Does the model behave consistently? Do they meet SLAs? Can they handle peak load? Do they have redundancy? Because a single point of AI failure can become a single point of business failure. 5. Compliance. Do they align with ISO 27001, NIST AI RMF, ISO 42001, GDPR, DPDP Act? Compliance is not about checking boxes. It is about demonstrating maturity. Together, these 5 dimensions form a comprehensive lens, a way to see vendors clearly, without emotion, without marketing bias, without guesswork. This is your framework, your responsibility, your power. Security evaluation. Security is not just one of the dimensions. It is the foundation on which everything else rests. When evaluating AI vendors, your security assessment must go deeper than infrastructure, deeper than firewalls, deeper than certificates. Let's walk through the 4 security pillars. First, model robustness. Ask the vendor, how resistant is your model to adversarial inputs? Have you conducted red team testing? What happens when someone tries to manipulate the model's behavior? A robust model doesn't collapse under pressure. It adapts, it protects, it resists. Second, API security. APIs are the arteries of modern AI. They carry your prompts, your secrets, your data, so you must verify. Authentication mechanisms, rate limiting, API gateway controls, key rotation, anomaly detection, OAuth 2.0 implementation. A weak API is an open door, a silent leak, a breach waiting to happen. Third, isolation controls. In multi-tenant environments, your data may sit beside someone else's, and without proper isolation, boundaries blur and risks become real. You must ensure container separation, separate model instances, network segmentation, no cross-tenant data visibility. Isolation is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Point. Fourth, adversarial defenses. Modern attacks are not loud. They are quiet, mathematical, subtle. Membership inference attacks, model extraction, model inversion. They take advantage of weak privacy patterns in AI systems. Vendors must demonstrate differential privacy, output filtering, rate-based protections, attack detection frameworks. In AI security, the greatest danger is not what you can see, but what you cannot. Privacy evaluation. Privacy in AI is delicate, complex, and often misunderstood. It is not simply about data protection. It is about data dignity. Let's understand the privacy pillars one by one. Data retention. Ask the vendor, how long do you store prompts, outputs, metadata, logs? A mature vendor will have strict, automated, verifiable deletion procedures. Training reuse. This is one of the most overlooked questions. Does your data become part of the training corpus? If yes, your intellectual property may become someone else's model improvement. Always verify. Opt-out mechanisms. clear contribution policies, isolation of fine-tuning datasets, PII boundaries. AI models often memorize patterns unintentionally. So you must confirm PII detection, PII redaction, jurisdictional compliance, encryption during processing. This is where GDPR and the DPDP Act become crucial. Deletion guarantees. Deletion is easy to promise, but difficult to prove. Insist on cryptographic proof of deletion, backup purging, retention logs, audit trails. Because in AI, privacy is not what the vendor says. Privacy is what the vendor can prove. Transparency evaluation. Transparency is the lighthouse of AI governance. Without it, you navigate in darkness. Look at the 4 pillars of transparency. 1. Model cards. A model card tells you what the model was trained on, intended use cases, performance metrics, limitations, demographic bias results. If a vendor refuses to provide this, treat it as a red flag. What they hide can hurt you. Second, documentation quality. Documentation is discipline. Vendors who document well, design well. It reflects maturity, structure, and readiness. Evaluate API docs, integration guides, security best practices, incident response procedures. Third, logging design AI. Without logging is AI without accountability. You must review logs for request, response tracking, model versioning, access logs, security events, retention policies. Logs are the story of what happened and what could have happened. 4. Explainability. Explainability gives you insight into why the model acted the way it did. It is critical for high-stakes use cases. Look for confidence scores, reasoning traces, interpretability tools, localized explanations. Transparency is not optional. It is the bridge between trust and truth, reliability and performance. Now we enter the realm of reliability. This is where AI vendors often overpromise and underdeliver. Reliability is not about marketing. It is about stability under pressure. Consider these elements carefully. Uptime guarantees. Look for real numbers, not theoretical claims. 99.95% is the industry benchmark for mission-critical AI. Verify historical uptime, incident history, redundancy design, disaster recovery mechanisms, SLA adherence. An SLA is a promise, but you must examine whether they kept their promises over the past 12 months. Point, ask for transparency reports, SLA violation records, compensation mechanisms, rate limit handling. AI systems break when overwhelmed. Grace periods, throttling, and proactive alerts matter. Point, latency management. Latency isn't just technical, it alters user experience, decision quality, and operational flow. Evaluate latency across geographies, load patterns, model variants, stress scenarios. The message is simple. A reliable AI vendor doesn't just perform well on good days, they protect you on bad days.